That's not a real girl. That's a trap. Hey guys, welcome back for another one of my deck discussion videos. Today we are going to be going over, I'm sure, everyone's favorite traps, Traptrix. And I mean this in so many contexts. So if you don't already know what Traptrix are, I suggest you keep watching the video and momentarily I will get to them. Before we continue though, I would like you all to look down below, just about a few centimeters below this video, and I would like you to press that notification bell and subscribe so you can get to my videos in the future. With that all aside, my deck discussion. If you haven't been here before with my first few deck discussions, I highly suggest you go check them out above me in the card, and I will be definitely doing more in the future for you as well, so keep an eye on those. If you have already seen those and you would like a specific deck that I haven't already done, be sure to put a message down in the comments and I'll try my best to get that. But if you're not familiar with the structure of these videos, these are more informational videos for you to get a deeper understanding of the surface. So first we go break down the important cards. So if you know them, you can feel free to skip ahead to the other stuff when I get to it. And then we go into the pros and cons of the deck, followed by a sample deck profile that I made for you that I've also tested a little bit and for you to use as a starter. And then we finish off the video with a few interactions so that you have a basic knowledge on how the deck actually works and what to expect from it. So now without further ado, let's get on to the deck breakdown. First thing I want to get over with this deck is that they are all plant insect level 4 monsters, so who are also unaffected by the effects of whole normal traps. Their names are the whole cards. So first up, we're going to go over Traptrix Myrmeleo. Myrmeleo is when it's normal summoned, you can add one normal whole trap from your deck to your hand, and if it's special summoned, you can target one spell or trap on the field and destroy it. This second effect is mandatory, and that matters a lot because it triggers regardless of if your opponent has a trap or spell on their field. You can't choose to activate this. This has to activate regardless. And neither of these effects are once per turn, so just keep that in mind. Next up is Traptrix Mantis. So when this one's normal summoned, it searches any other Traptrix monster from your deck. It's unaffected by holes as well, and its other effect is a quick effect, so you can target one set spell or trap you control, return it to the hand, and then you can set a spell or trap from your hand. So it doesn't matter what you set after. It could be the same exact card, but it returns to your hand and then gets set on the field. And there's a little cool interaction I'll show you with this later. Next up is Traptrix Dionea. Same just as everything else. When it's normal summoned, you can target a Traptrix in your graveyard and special summon it. So basically it's Call of the Haunted. When this card is special summoned, you can target a trap whole card in your graveyard and set that target but banish it during the end phase of your next turn if it's still on the field and you didn't end up using it. Our new card, Traptrix Vesiculo, you can use only one of her effects per turn and only once per turn, so she's a hard once per turn, which is unfortunate. Basically, you can send one set trap you control to the grave, special summon her, so she's an extender in case your normal summon gets destroyed or whatever. And her other effect is if you control no cards in your spell or trap zone, you can banish her from your graveyard, then target a trap whole card in your grave and then set it to your field, which is nice recycle. Genlesia, we play one of her as well. You contribute her, target two whole normal traps with different names, one from your deck and one from grave, so she searches technically, and you set them both to your field. The only thing is they're banished when they leave the field, but that's no big deal because you got your value out of them. As for our extra deck Traptrix, we have Traptrix Sarah, which is basically multi-faker but on crack. When she's link summoned, she's unaffected by traps. So it doesn't matter what it is. You can Solemn Strike her, she won't care. She'll still resolve. You can only use each of her effects once per turn. So if a normal trap is activated, you can special summon a Traptrix from your deck with a different name than all the ones you control. So if you want, you can summon a Melio from deck, pop a card on their field, a trap or spell on their field. Then if your Traptrix monster's effect is activated, you can set a trap hole from your deck to your field. So it's basically a marionette for Traptrix. So that's nice. Traptrix Cularia is a new Traptrix. It requires 2 insect or plant monsters, and it's also unaffected when it's by trap effects when it's link summoned. Basically, if you activate a trap hole on your field, you can just set it instead of going to the graveyard, right? And instead, and during your end phase, if you can target a Traptrix in your grave and special summon it in defense position, so it also gets you recursion, which is really nice. Traptrix Orphlesia is unaffected while it has a material, and basically she detaches a material to copy a trap hole from deck by sending that card. The other thing is she protects all your other Traptrix from being destroyed by battle or card effects. So, and they can't target anything but her, which is really, really nice protection effect and very much needed. Traptrix Alarmorous, she's less useful, but she's got the same effect as all the other extra deck monsters. You can only use each of her effects. Each of the effects once per turn. Detach 2 materials, special summon a level 4 insect or plant from your graveyard, or if your opponent's monster leaves the field because of a card effect that you had, and is now in the graveyard or banished, except during the damage step, you can detach a material and take control of that. Special summon it to your field. So she's really nice for like big monsters. Like you can steal Eldritch the Golden Lord, you can steal Boral Sword Dragon if you really wanted to, as long as it was in the graveyard or banished because of your card effect. That is it for basically the gist of the breakdown. Now some pros and cons of the deck. The first pro is that it's a really nice control deck. If you like control decks and slower decks, this is a nice little middle of the ground deck. If you don't like trap decks, then this is definitely a con for you. And another con is that it can be a little slow to start sometimes. The other thing about this deck that struggles is that it hates back row, and people play a lot of back row hate right now. So if you get killed with a Harpy's Feather Duster and you don't have Judgment, that it's just game over, kind of. The nice thing is the monsters have a lot of protection effects for themselves. Rafflesia is a really broken card. Sarah is also a really broken card, so it's really nice in terms of setup and ease of access to your power cards. Everything is searchable in the deck, so it's just easy. But yeah, that's just kind of the pros and cons of the deck. Okay guys, so this is the deck profile. If you can't see me like I discussed, Traptrix, Mantis, Myrmelio, and DNA are at 3. The others I mentioned are at 1. We play 3 Nadir Servant and in Ecclesia as just a little package to get another normal trap, because we don't really need the extra deck too much, but we need it a little bit. It's a nice little addition. We also play this Paleozoic, so if we have a weak monster we can pop on their field with punishment, we can send this, and this is basically spell and trap protection for your deck, which something that Traptrix really struggled with was spell and trap protection. So we like to have this. We only play one of all the bigger Traptrix extra deck monsters, as you can see. They're not as summoned as often. Sarah is a Link 1, so she's almost always summoned and your go-to. We play 3 Judgment, 3 Strike because we hate back row and we hate other monster effects. Even though these don't trigger Sarah, they're still really nice to have. We play 3 Imperm, 3 Bell and 3 Ash because those are the best hand traps right now other than Gamma, and we need hand traps to go second. We play 3 Prosperity because consistency, and Nadir Servant as consistency as well. We play 4 different trap holes. These are just the best ones, and I wanted a little toolbox of trap holes rather than just like 3 floodgate trap hole, which is like not even that good because we have fusions in the format. So I just decided to go with this. If you have any other questions about the deck, you can definitely ask me in the comments below. Otherwise, we're just going to move on. Okay guys, so this is going to be the first interaction that we have. So this is going to be a slightly more complex board today, but this is what I was talking about, a little funny interaction that the deck has with Mantis and Dionea. So we're going to activate any trap we have. We're going to just pretend it's the Phantom Knight's trap because that's a fun trap to have. We're going to activate it. Sarah's going to activate to special Dionea. Dionea is going to activate to set the trap hole from our grave to our field, and we're going to then use Sarah effect to set another trap hole from deck. Now, the thing about this trap hole here is that due to her effect, it'll be banished during the end phase of my next turn. So in order to avoid that effect completely, we activate Mantis to bounce it back to hand. Since it left the field and it's no longer on the field, we can just set it, and we set it again. It's no longer affected by the effects of Dionea, so we can just keep that on the field for however long we want. Next, we're just going to overlay into Rafflesia, and now we have basically 3 disruptions off of an initially no disruption board. For our final little interaction video, we're going to have basically the full combo of this deck. So we're going to have Mantis, Nadir, and Shade Brigandine. So first we're going to normal Mantis, do our search for Dionea for the extender for next turn. Then we're going to link into Sarah and then set the Brigandine, trigger Sarah's first effect, summon Mermelio, and then Mermelio is going to activate because I mentioned it was a mandatory effect, in which it happens, and then Sarah is going to trigger again, set any trap hole from your deck. We're going to then overlay into Rafflesia, so now we have protection on top of a trap, and this is all from 2 cards so far. So we went +1 overall. Now we activate Nadir Servant, send Pegasus because even more protection in case they break stuff. Search Ecclesia. Ecclesia is going to search Punishment, and then we are going to have 2 traps set on our field. And at this point, that's off of 3 cards. We went +3 off of 3 cards. So that's a pretty nice card economy. We have even further extension during our opponent's turn and during our next turn as well. So this deck can get pretty aggressive very fast if you have the right hand. Plus we have 2 more cards in hand. Those could be traps, those could be anything. Those could be hand traps as well. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this. Hey guys, I just wanted to say one last thing. If you want to check out one of my more popular videos, that would be the video on the left. And if you want to check out one of my more recent videos, that video will be on the right. I will see you guys soon. Peace.